Ro.creating. Welcome. So my workshop is coming along pretty nicely. Lots of benches, lots of tools, lots of machines. But now I want to get a sink, I want to get a place to store my leaf blower, and most importantly, I want a little bed for the dog, so he can sleep while I'm working. Now to get that started, I had an old sink, I had a leaf blower, and of course I have a dog. First thing to do is to make the boxes. Again, like I was saying before, none of this is difficult if you just simplify it down and think of it all as boxes. So I'm making a box for the base, I'm making a box for the top, and the panels will come after. So same as you've seen me do before, just cut your wood to lengths, screw and glue, and that's kind of that. Lay them in place, size is okay, check everything kind of fits. Yeah, we're good to go. So now it's a case of subdividing that interior space. I want to make sure that I have enough space for the leaf blower, I want to make sure I have enough space for the dog bed, and the sink I'll fit in. So once you figure out where things are going to go, again, screw and glue, make it strong. First one in, and just again give it one more check. So all that's pretty good. I just repeat and I make a second carcass or frame the same, but I'll be moving one element of it because the sink, I need to get access to the sink, to the underside of the sink for, to plumb in the taps and all that stuff. So I had to put a lean on the little wall on the inside. Now that's not going to make any huge difference to anything, it just means that the wall behind Dusty when he's sleeping will be slightly angled. So now it's time to sort out the height. So again, getting my laser level, that's why I took these measurements and start putting legs in place. Once you got them right and fine tuned, screw them in. And now to put the top carcass on, I got a 4-inch block, put 2 clamps in place, found my heights on the wall, put plenty of construction glue, and then just plopped my top in. Once I had everything kind of fine-tuned and fine-tweaked, I start screwing everything together, bracing it all in place. This is going to have a sheet of 3/4 inch put on top of it afterwards. And again, using a laser level is just such a handy way to get it right. So next thing to do then is to start thinking about the strength of it. So just getting bits and pieces of 4x2 and strengthening them up with offcuts. That's all. Then it's time to start working on the panels. So cutting them to size, going to go one at a time. I was thinking here to myself, hang on a second, if you put that on now, then you won't be able to get a shelf in. So decided I'd do that next. Got 2 little lengths of 2x1.5. Found my level. Again, laser level is really handy for getting this right. Just screw them in place. Got a sheet of ply. Cut it to size. Just rest it in. Now, it's an ideal shelf for long, awkward rolls of plastic or rolls of paper or awkward things. And I just put 2 little lips on either side then to stop the stuff falling down. And now it's time to start putting on the panels. Happy days. And the panel at the back of the sink, which is angled up, but that's kind of that. Gonna put a base down for Dusty. I'll put insulation underneath there afterwards. No point in having them being cold. And then it's onto the sink. So take your measurements, mark your measurements, make sure you avoid all the 4x2s that are in underneath the frame. And once you've it marked out and triple checked, cut it out. and if you did it well and you pulled all the legs in from the sink, it should plop into place. Lovely. Alright, so it's time to get cleaning. So you get your rasp, start cleaning, and if you can stay focused for more than 2 minutes, then you sand her down and dust it out. Maybe not using a brush, how about a leaf blower? Yep, that'll do. And once all that's done, yep, you gotta paint it black. One, two, three, yay! And there we go. Give everything a chance to dry. Give everything a sand. Give everything a varnish. And while I was at that, I thought I should get a backsplash. I'll make a little backsplash for the back of the sink because you don't want water getting around the place, you want to keep it contained. So grabbed a few lengths of plywood that I had, cut a little angle like that, so attach them together, make sure everything's nice and square, and layer in place. And drill a few holes and you screw her up from underneath. Little bit of trim, more sanding, more varnishing. This is getting, I'd say, about 4 or 5 coats of varnish in total, but it'll be worth it. So next thing to consider is the electrics. I want to have a socket on the outside of this bench, so I marked out underneath the socket to get conduit and mark out where that is on my framework, get my multi-tool, hammer chisel, feed in some 2.5 cable, clip it into place, and then you have power. And on the other side you want to mark out your socket and take that out. Now again, I have to say, get an electrician to do the wiring for you. I am simply doing the donkey work here for the electrician. So once you have that hole taken out, put in your socket, feed through your cable, and you're good. Now, get my electrician in. So while I was waiting for him, time to get the sink in place. So big bead of silicone all the way around the whole thing, and then you gently place it in place and attach it in from underneath. I have the tabletop suspended here 4 inches so I can get the glue underneath it, and then one limb at a time, put her down and into place. A little bit of squiggling, clamp and dry, and of course a little bit of trim. So then sand the whole lot down, dust the whole lot off, wipe the whole thing down, and then varnish it. Now a really simple trick here for varnishing, especially if your varnishing thing is a couple of days in a row, is wrap your brush in cling film. You can just reuse it over and over and over again. It never dries out. And keep going over the whole countertop.
Well, thank you for tuning in to the latest exciting episode of What's Going On in the Shed. I'm delighted. This was a really interesting build. I gotta say, having a sink is fantastic. Having running water, the ability to wash brushes, make a cup of tea if I want a cup of tea, wash my clothes if the wife ever kicks me out of the house. This is a really important thing to have. I have my leaf blower here, so anytime I want to grab it, dust out the workshop. Fantastic. Easiest way in the world to clean. And most importantly, I couldn't be happier than having a lovely dog bed in here for himself to be sitting in there watching me working and talking away while he's asleep. Now you might notice here there is a sheet of plywood up here behind that. That's a surprise. You'll see what's behind there later on, hopefully. And look, thank you very much again. Leave a like, leave a subscription. I'd really appreciate it. If you have any questions or any comments, please leave them in the box. Fantastic. Now, I'm going to get clean in this place because, man, I'll tell you, it is a really easy